Can you hear me?
You're fine, Rabbi.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to just mute everybody as we go over here. And I'll let you ask questions afterwards. First of all, I said to Hillam today, I'm allowed to be in the shul because I am a nonprofit leader. A lot of what I did today actually was giving out ma'os chitim, being involved with all kinds of issues. But I specifically want to give the shiur in the shul, as I did the Tehillim today, because I want us all to remember that our goal really is to get back to the shul, and really to get even more than that, to get back to the Beis HaMikdash, and to have the opportunity to serve Hashem in the ultimate Mikdash, the Beis HaMikdash. This is obviously, I don't need to tell you the news or anything of that sort. It's extraordinarily trying times. At the same time, it's a time really where Hashem wants us to do more and be better. I wanted to start tonight with two letters. One from Moiri Rabbi, one from my teacher of Matisyahu Salmon, the Mashgiach of Lakewood. And in a longer letter, he says an amazing thing. Hashem definitely did not come to create weakness. Just the opposite. What Hashem wants from us is to strengthen ourselves with more fortitude and more force in Torah and in prayer, that we should be strong and fit in order to do the will of our Father in heaven. So it's not just about surviving these challenging times. If Hashem, and as I spoke about on Shabbos, for those who were here, it's not made in China, it's sent from China, it's made by Hashem, and there's a message for us, which I spoke about on Shabbos, but there's also really an opportunity for us to get closer to Hashem. And as scary and as dangerous as this time is, and as much as we have to be extraordinarily careful about following all of the health priorities and necessities, and of course making Kiddush Hashem in the world, and as well, and not to break those, but it's also an opportunity for all of us to get closer to Hashem. I actually saw today an amazing Rav Hirsch. Rav Shamshon Fal Hirsch said that, and he had as a havamina, as a discussion point over 140 years ago, that it would be interesting, as a theory, that if you could just close down all the shuls for a while, that it would be worth it at some level, that people should be able to bring Judaism, Yiddishkeit, into their homes. We are so dependent upon shuls and yeshivas and everything else. And what Hirsch really discusses is that the ultimate Yiddishkeit, the ultimate Judaism, is lived in the home. And he had it as a chas v'shalom, but as a havamina. But in our real life, Hashem really has given all of us this opportunity, being almost missing the shul. First of all, to miss Mashiach. If we miss the shul, how much more so we should wait to go to Mashiach? How much more so? I was thinking today, this is a taste of how much we should want Mashiach. We were so happy in the shul. We're so happy in our ruchnius and going to yeshiva. And at some level, we're lacking that desire for Mashiach, because we're really still homeless at some level. We really are lacking that feeling for the Beis HaMikdash. So the first thing is should help us not only want to get back to the shul, but to realize the ultimate home and the ultimate Beis HaKnesses and the ultimate salvation is to want Mashiach. But on a personal level, really for all of us, there's probably no, I told someone today, more than 9/11 in my lifetime, I've never felt as radical as the situation is today. And it really offers us an opportunity to connect to Hashem in ways that we typically couldn't get to. This feeling of insecurity, this feeling of that nothing is determined and that we're in Hashem's hands. At some level, it's terrifying. At some level, it's liberating. And it really could allow each one of us to get closer to Hashem more than ever before. And just like we, as I mentioned briefly, at some level, I think we got used to being in shul, or get used to being in yeshiva, or get used to the regular part of life. And now we would love to have that. We would so too we would love to have a Beis HaMikdash, hopefully, to realize that our situation is very temporary. But on an individual level, it really affords us an opportunity, perhaps more than ever in our lifetime, to individually connect to Hashem, to individually be connected to Hashem in our houses, in our daily day-in-day life. Another letter I mentioned, we'll do two letters before we start the Sefer, is Rabbi Yaakov Meir Shechter. Yaakov Meir Shechter is one of the greatest Mekubalim in Jerusalem. He's a chassid. He himself has had a very challenging life. He's known as a tzaddik and great in really in all ways. And he had a much longer letter in Lashon HaKodesh in Hebrew. And he talks first of all about how much I'm going to skip, about working on relationships with other people and connecting. But then he talks about what we should be doing in particular in this time. And what about doing good? Because again, as I mentioned, I don't believe in my lifetime that I've ever had a feeling that I can individually connect to Hashem as much as as now. I don't think I was as ever harried in a long time as I was today, and the responsibility from the mikvah to the shul to people's finances. I personally, I'm sure we all have our own acute things, but as I was walking home today, I told myself, I don't know the last time I felt as close to Hashem that I knew it was all up to Hashem. And that really is the goal for us all over here. We should be taking this opportunity, and it is very scary and it's very dangerous. And don't think it's not, but it's also opportunity to get close to Hashem. Probably the greatest opportunity for many of us in our lifetime thus far. And we should realize that with to me it was a day after Purim when it starts to get more intense. With this taking off of Haman's ring, like the Purim story, there is no greater opportunity to get close to Hashem. By Purim, we had a tzibur, although we're all on Zoom tonight, and we'll try to do this nightly. But at some level, it's up to each one of us at home. It's our individual, it's our opportunity to bring into our home Hashem and to bring into our life. It's easy to live today as an Orthodox Jew in America. We have very, very little anti-Semitism. As bad as the past couple of years has been, our parents, grandparents had it much worse, much less worse. My grandparents, all four Holocausts I saw, no comparison. I'm going to do the Bais HaLevi, his kuntras on Bitachon. He lived from 1820 to I think 1892. No comparison. And we have kosher food. Even today with Pesach, with all the craziness, you can still buy everything for Pesach. It's easy, and at some level we can coast. But now we don't have that ability. We have the opportunity from ourselves to deeply connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to deeply connect to Hashem. And at some level, that's amazing. It's really a tremendous opportunity. So if Shechter, in his letter, says the following thing. It says of Shechter, and as far as doing good, leishtadel b'chol leiv levarech es hamea brachas shebechol yoim shebesafa berura uvenima. Every day to say 100 brachas correctly and slowly. Correctly and slowly. Uvechazal, our sages tell us, it is the Talmud, Shizu ha'atzas David hamelech alav hashalom. This was the idea of David, lahatzlas hadur mimagefa. The Gemara actually, b'hashkacha, I don't even know why, a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I actually gave a shiur on this 100 brachas a day. It's on my website if anyone wants to see it. But I quoted this Chazal that this Gemara that David, there was a plague in David's time, and masses of people around him were dying, and it was at that point he made a takana to say 100 blessings a day. Why? Because 100 people around him were dying every day. With this idea, that was the merit. That was the merit that the Magefa, that plague in his day died. The king, that times of King David. Why? Well, the Hamshech Shefa Chayim Ubracha brought life, blessing, Rav Tuv Lebais Yisrael. We say Gadol L'Chayadis. And the truth is, I talked about, in our day in day lives, it's up to us now. And the ability, I look at it as a gift at some level to get closer to Hashem. If we can work on our brachas, forget, I understand we should be worried about our physical life. What about our spiritual life? I mentioned this the other week. I've never had so many people worried about something in the outside physically, and we should be worried, and I'm not at all telling you not to be. We should be very concerned about our spiritual life. We could work on saying brachas, on saying blessings correctly. Not only will be a protection for us, but it will allow us to get close to Hashem in ways that we're not doing today. So God l'chol yadas, who darash Hashem yimanu. Why did David do it? Because Hashem always wants us to say blessings. A blessing connects us to Hashem. V'zedarash Hashem yimanu, kedarash chazal, ama Hashem shol mimcha. As our sages told us, what does Hashem ask from us? Ki im liyira es Hashem, to fear Hashem. Al tikra ma. Don't the Chazal said, don't say ma elamea. You should say 100 blessings a day. When you say shahakol, God, everything comes from God. When you put on tefillin in the morning if you're a man, when you say brachas in Shemona Esrei, when you go to the bathroom, we're talking so much about health. Every time we make a blessing, and I wanted to say this, we're obligated to do everything we can for our health. Everything. We're not going to show for the slight possibility that you or I or anyone else could be a carrier for this. We're staying away from people. Even with everything, there's no guarantees in life. Asher Yatzar, saying a blessing when you go to the bathroom, which is a skula for health, how much more so we should take the opportunity to say these blessings, and especially in Asher Yatzar with Kavanah. And Kamoken, the harvest Bamiris Tehillim, Shu Sefer Shel Tefillah ve'Emunah. It's a book of Tefillah ve'Emunah, David Melech Yisrael, and he wrote with Ruach HaKodesh for all generations, including ours, and for all times, including our own generation, and including our own time, including today. We'll call Echad ve'Echad Mamish. Now, we said Tehillim as a group today. I got some emails. People very much appreciated it. And we're doing every day from 12:30 to 12:45. But we should be saying Tehillim by ourselves. It's us and Hashem today. King David, for much of his youth, he was under duress of siblings, of relatives, of others. And it was him and Hashem. And that's how Tehillim came. David, because of the difficulties and the challenges in his life, created a relationship with Hashem, which we benefit to our very day. It's that emunah, that faith and that trust came from the challenging challenges in David's life. And he literally had people trying to kill him and question him and attack him and delegitimize him. And Tehillim is for all times and for all people. Our called Sarah v'Aksa, for every tragedy and every difficulty, and it says with prat, and certainly, and ace Sarahs. I skipped the beginning of the letter where he talks about how challenging this time is, because I know we all know that. You don't need me. You didn't come on here to tell me to give you the news. With Ezra's Hashem, Aidei Diburim HaKadoshim Shal Tehillim. When we say Tehillim, Nitzel, it'll be a schus mikol tzaros, and we should have a yeshuvim hira. V'ha'ikar, huliachas tamid, and we should all, the most important thing, at the end of his letter, he says this as follows, is we should know beruach hashgach pratis, about Hashem's divine providence over each one of us individually and as a tzibur and the community as a whole. To know 100% that there's nothing, absolutely nothing that comes by chance. It's not because of bats in China. It's not because of rats. It won't be because of Trump. It will be saved, or because of Trump it won't be saved. There's nothing that happens by mikra. That everything to every person into the entire world comes nar only from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ladas b'bir sheishu mikra v'lidbok b'Hashem, and to cling to Hashem uv mitzvahs of HaKadosh. And again, this is today. It's us. We're individuals, and that's what Hashem wanted. Hashem wanted all of us. And to quote again my Rabbi, Matziel Samid, he wants us to strengthen ourselves with more fortitude and more force in Torah. Hashem definitely did not come to create weakness. He did not put us in a situation where we should be slacking or falling in iota. What Hashem wants from us individually, and as a tzibur to the extent we can, is to connect to Him like we never connected before when it was easy. V'lidbok Hashem in b'tzvasa u'tzpalav alav tamid. V'agav simoni milsa shesham ha'machla. And he says, actually, he makes his own thing. He says, simoni milsa. He says, korona is likra el Hashem kra'na. To likra na, like kra'na, kof resh aleph dash no and aleph, likra Hashem tamid, ki ein al malvado. Because there is nothing besides HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There is nothing besides Hashem. It doesn't make a difference with all of the borders and all of the financial policies to save the entire world's economy. If Hashem does not give us salvation, tomorrow, by the way, literally tomorrow, Hashem wants to, they can have a cure tomorrow, and this will be history. History. But it's all up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And instead, chas v'shalom, to think that this is just because of some bats in China, or whatever conspiracy theory person wants to believe about biological, it's only and only because of Hashem. And he had everyone on this tape in mind when he made it, when he made this. And he says especially, al ta'atzvu v'al tifchadu. Don't be sad. Don't be sad. And don't be scared. Ki Hashem imachem, because Hashem is with you, which means do what we can. Everything that we should be following, the CDC and everything else, but realize Hashem is with us. That when we do our part, we'll be discussing this in the nights ahead. Ki Hashem imachem uvizmanim elu, and in these times, tzrichim leschazik b'oifim yuchalot b'simcha. That we have to especially be happy and not to panic and not to be overly worried. Have proper precaution to follow what we're supposed to do. And because panicking, sitting up there, somebody told me not sleeping, means that besides not helping you, I'm not sure why lack of sleep helps in any way, in any form, in any fashion whatsoever, but there's something lacking in it. What does it mean, simcha? You're supposed to do a dance, there's a corona, you're supposed to be happy, some people could die, could get hurt, people losing financially. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't say that. But it means that the simcha means that even though this is a challenge, and this is a punishment at some level, but it means it's still from Hashem. And Hashem is giving us what we need. And if we do what we need, everything will be okay. Whatever happens, it'll be okay. Right? It doesn't mean it necessarily will be sweet, but it'll be okay. And the more we have bitachon, the sweeter it will be. The better it will be. The stronger we are. And we individually, somebody said to me, they were worried about missing minyan and their aruchnius. If Hashem gave us this test, that individual and all of us can come out of this on a higher level of spirituality. If you are a yeshivish, the Vilna Gaon was in jail and he missed minyan. If you're Chassidish, the Baal HaTanya was in jail, the Chazanis was in jail. There are people, the Chatzkel Abramsky spent time under the communists in Siberia, and they were all steig. They all became greater, not less. Right? And not less, not an iota less. they became greater in their ruchnis and greater in their spirituality. And the happiness comes from knowing that Hashem is with us, and that whatever happens, we'll be okay. It doesn't mean it will, for every person in the world, it will be the best, but Hashem will give everyone what they need. Everyone in the, again, we have to talk more about this in the nights ahead. And with the more tikva, Hashem can take away quicker. We should be zaycha, and then he gives a blessing that we shall have bracha. So I decided, since we're learning trust and bitachon, as I mentioned, to do the Bais HaLevi. I had the Bais HaLevi, Yoshe Ber Soloveitchik, was a great grandson of Chaim Volozhin, the founder of the Volozhin Yeshiva, the greatest student of the Vilna Gaon. He is the father of probably the most famous Talmudist of the 20th century, Chaim Soloveitchik, the grandfather of Shiur Soloveitchik of Boston, of YU, and the father of Yitzchak Ber Soloveitchik, the Rizkarov, grandfather of Rizkarov, is a great-grandfather, of Shiur Soloveitchik, his namesake. The Bais HaLevi's sefer is short, so I gave Shiur a few years ago in Chovas Lavavas. It's online also, but that's very long, and it's to get into the sefer. It takes weeks, and right now we need to work on a Bitachon tonight. Just parenthetically, I remember when I was a bacher, actually when I was a vreich, and I called one of the greatest tzaddikim Talmidei Chachamim in Bnei Brak, Rabbi Elya Weintraub, who taught the Steipler Kabbalah, who was a Rebbe of Rav Shimshon Pincus and many others. And I called him he was Rav Chaim Kanievsky's neighbor, and I called him from Lakewood, and I had a shayla on Bitachon. It was about 1:30, 1 o'clock at night at my time, and I was up and I wanted to get this. So I called Eretz Yisrael, and he said to me, at first he thought I was single, and I had met him several times. I don't think he realized who I was on the phone. So he said to me, Bitachon, if you're in Shidduchim, you have to be working Bitachon already. I said, no, I'm married. I'm just learning about Bitachon, so I want to ask the Rav Shaila. He said, then he answered my Shaila, but we don't have time to go through elaborate the mechanics of Bitachon. We need to strengthen our Bitachon now. We need to daily strengthen our Bitachon, and Mea Brachas, 100 blessings, was not only a way to connect to Hashem personally, it's a way to strengthen our Bitachon. Tehillim, if we listen to it, Tehillim, another way. But we learn Bais HaLevi because he himself lived in a very challenging time period. In his work, which is a kuntras, it's a small little book, I think is really pertinent. We're going to start the first paragraph tonight because I really want to keep to the schedule, and we'll pick up tomorrow night. And Mitzvah Hashem, we'll learn every night, Sunday to Thursday night, until we have a Yeshua Bekara of B'neder. So it says the Bais HaLevi, Chayvus HaBitachon, the obligation of Bitachon. Baba Psukim Rabu Mesefer. They come really from many, many verses in the Torah. Now he's going to start a little bit strong. This paragraph, he'll have other parts as well, because he says a person who's lacking Bitachon. If you believe, if Bais HaLevi be here tonight, you're stuck with me. There's much bigger people to hear. And you had the Bais HaLevi, whoa. Bais HaLevi would say, what do you think there's bats? And that's why the whole world, that's why it's why you're not a minion. You think there's a bunch of bats in China? Are you out of your mind? Don't you realize it's from Hashem? And don't you realize that we are here in this room, each one of us, people who grew up non-religious, people who grew up in communist Russia, people who had physical ailments on this call, people who had other challenges, we're here as a nation after Kol Dor V'Dor, we're going to say on Pesach, in every generation we're trying to be destroyed. I saw Mrs. Tammy Benjamin's on this call. She's a fighter for Eretz Yisrael, for the land of Israel, for the state of Israel, against all of the anti-Zionists. Anti-Zionists, not just in this generation, every generation. Don't you think that we're not here for a reason? Just when the end of the world's going to happen because a bunch of bats or rats in China? Get out of that! Are you crazy? You should realize Bitachon means Hashem runs the world. And if you lack that trust, says the Bais HaLevi, it's actually an avera. Because what you're really saying is there's no God. Because what you're really saying is, oh no, stock market, my investments, my job, my Pesach, I had plans, my children, my grandchildren, but it's all over because bats, it's China, no. Or it's the end of the world. It's Hashem created it. Hashem put us into it. And for our best, I feel on an individual level, we will, if we take this, we will grow like we never, ever did. I can't, in my lifetime, honestly, I don't remember any feeling like I've had this week. Nothing. I can't. And 9/11, I had my father-in-law at the World Trade Center. I still haven't felt that feeling they felt this week. And he says, if you lack it, it's an avera atzmo, and the lack of bitachon itself could cause you to fall. And that can cause you to fall physically because you forgot God. It can cause you for sure spiritually. Now, I mentioned for all of us on this call and anyone who will listen to it, it's being taped, that we can grow like we never did. But if we lack bitachon, it could be a yerida. Chas v'shalom, it could be a falling for us because we get upset at God. Chas v'shalom, we get upset at the world. We forget our priorities. So lack of this bitachon could cause ourselves problems. Actually, I see my normal Wednesday night Chavrusa David Zox on this call. We usually learn Wednesday nights 8:30 to 9, and he's on the phone now. If we learn Mishlei, which is why I'm mentioning this. So King Shlomo says in Mishlei, Charadus Adam Yitin Meikesh, that the worry of a person causes her stumbling. Uboteach b'Hashem yisugov. And a person who trusts in Hashem, they will go higher. They will be matzliach. They will be successful. If you're going to be nervous and worried, you don't trust in Hashem, you think that this is just all, you're stuck at policy decisions of politicians, of whether they'll discover a cure tomorrow, or if somebody doesn't wash their hands next to you, or if the wrong mailman comes to your door. That itself could be the reason you stumble. But a person who has bitachon b'Hashem, even from the tzara, you will be saved, and not only will be physically saved, that with Hashem's help, in our efforts, and us working on bitachon, doing what we can, realizing this is an individual opportunity to go to Hashem, saying 100 blessings a day, saying Tehillim, and realizing that our test now from Hashem, it's up to us individually to connect like we've never connected before. If we do that, we'll now be saved physically. We'll grow spiritually, and we'll have a connection like we never had. I'm going to hold here tonight in the Hashem. So unmute everyone. I wish everyone a good night. Bracha.
Good night.
Bitachon. Mirz Hashem. Tomorrow at 12:30 there'll be Tehillim, and we'll resume this class tomorrow at 8:30. Keep steiging.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Only bracha.
Thank you, Rabbi. Fantastic.
Bye-bye.
תודה, כבוד הרב.
Bye. Asaf, we miss you.
We miss you. לילה טוב.
לילה טוב.